I used to be a New Yorker. Thank you for welcoming me back. Once a New Yorker, New York for life, yeah? So people often accuse vegans of, quote, forcing our ideas down people's throats, when literally all they just did was read some words or look at a video in their phone. Like, oh, huh, I think I'm the real victim here, people. Mother, you came to our comment sections. Nobody is forcing you to do anything. All we're trying to do is to stop literal knives from being forced into literal animals' throats. All we're trying to do is to get people to recognize the fact that animals are not inanimate objects who deserve to be treated worse than serial killers, even when they're completely innocent. But that animals are sentient beings just like us, who deserve rights and protections as such. And it's not that vegans are trying to take over the world. Not for real. All we're doing is using our freedom of speech to fight for and defend those who cannot defend themselves until their rights and freedoms are enshrined into law. So before I kick off the music, what do you think about us warming up our voices together, yeah? So when I say animal, you say rights. Animal. Animal. When I say animal, you say rights. Animal. Animal. Hey, yo, DJ, we drop that beat. Yeah, how we doing, New York City? They say we running out of time, better make a switch. Planet Earth is on fire, it's getting dangerous. Feel like we racing to a cliff through a great abyss. Maybe these aliens can help, should we make a wish? Cause shit, your humanity is napping like we all are siesta. We could still be damned if every car was a Tesla. There's just too much damage saturated in this bubble. And now that the trees are burning, bro, trouble's about to double up. So how the fuck we gonna deal with this empirical? Look at this apocalypse and make our own miracle. Only got one last hope, start a rebirth. And it's called a rainforest, yeah, the heart of this earth. Getting charred, getting burned, make them barbecues turn. Gas chambers to the slaughter like my grandfather learned. Say you conscious concern, step for all that's the word. You sit in animals' throat, but never use the wrong word. Hey, you up talking, I'm caught, and if we can stop the pretending, you just stayed an innocent baby, yeah, you not against oppression. Point the finger all you want, CEOs and presidents and billionaires got billions cause you giving them your Benjamins. So please vote better, it's an evil way. That's once every 4 years, read 3 times a day. Say let's march on the White House, it is not time to wait. We'll put the money where your mouth is, start with your plate, Thank you. All right, before I bounce, let me ask you a quick question. Is it just me, or is it that every time we speak up for animals these days, it seems like the trolls will immediately creep in with the same copy and paste comments like, oh, you stupid vegans, you think you're really saving animals? Don't know how many mice, how many birds, how many bugs get crushed under the tractor just for your damn soybeans? In fact, vegans kill more animals than meat eaters. Let's set the record straight. The animals that people eat plants. That's why it takes 20 times as much land to get a gram of protein out of a cow's corpse versus just going straight to the plant-based source. 20 times more accidental crop deaths on top of the grass puppy that you are intentionally slaughtering. And so-called grass-fed, free-range animal body parts are even worse for the earth. That's because there's so much less energy in grass than there is in the high-protein plant foods that they give to caged farm animals. High-protein foods that we could be eating, but that are instead being used to fatten up tens of billions of animals slaughtered every year, to be consumed by privileged people who will then turn around and say, oh, veganism is too expensive for me. Even though we know for a fact that plant-based protein sources are astronomically cheaper than eating dead animals. And that connection's not a coincidence, because wasting that much land and crops drives up the cost. And that's why 8 million of the most legitimately underprivileged, extremely impoverished human beings die from starvation every single year. And that's the wasteful process involved in factory farming, and grass-fed is even worse than that. And that, my friends, is why grass-fed, free-range cancer burgers are the #1 reason that the Earth's right and left lung, AKA the Congo and Amazon rainforests, are being burnt to the ground as we speak. Globally, animal consumption is the #1 cause of habitat destruction, mass extinction, and is responsible for more greenhouse gases than every car, truck, plane, train, and ship in the world combined. But just to leave you on a positive note, if the human race were to come to our senses and humans started acting humane, and like will.i.am said, founder of the V-Gang, just be nice, it would free up 75% of all the space currently being taken up by the human race. That's a land area equivalent to the entire United States and China and the European Union and the continent of Australia combined. Allowing that much land to regenerate into nature would obviously create enormous amounts of habitat for wild animals come back from the brink of extinction, and would lower greenhouse gas levels back down to pre-industrial levels and take us back from the brink, from the precipice of apocalypse on which we are currently standing. So thank you for being on the right side of history. Let's do this. And can we all give will.i.am a shout out and say, V-Gang? Thank you.